Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about why you, as a man, are never good enough for the woman. And I think this can be really helpful to a lot of you guys out there. Now, some of you that are just like, super studs and are in charge with, all the women and have never had any problem with them and think that, the purpose of your life is to just get together with women, and the measure of your success as a man is, the number of women that you get together with. This is not for you. This is for the guys who are having trouble getting together with women and difficulty understanding it and are suffering with emotional pain and are turning away from this natural expected mode of behavior. Okay, do you understand? Okay, yeah, well, you're not really here. So yeah, that's what it's about. Okay, so why are men never good enough for women? And what does this dynamic have to do with the larger picture and with you in your individual personal life? Okay, let me cover some of the basics that are pretty much obvious, okay? First of all, the exchange rate between, a man wanting to have sex with a woman and a woman having sex with a man, right? Two different things. In this exchange, the man gets to feel, great pleasure and finds, great, worth in the exchange, and the female, in the long run, potentially gets pregnant and has her entire life, taken over. So it's, this moment of great pleasure for the man versus this life-changing, possibly life-threatening event in the woman's life, assuming that she can get pregnant. You know what I mean? And that's the biological basis for this interaction. So forget about things like birth control and, modern contraception and things like that. This is the biological, function that's going on here, right? So your sperm, it's worth a penny. Her egg, it's worth $1 million, biologically speaking. Okay, so there's the one dynamic. Now, if you were a father and you had, a daughter and she was getting together with young men, the last thing that you would want to have happen would be for her to have sex and then for her to get pregnant, right? You want to have her pick out a particular man, make sure, he's a good man and get married and, build a future and a family together. You want to have her do that. You want to teach her to do that. So there's another reason why you as a man, meeting up with a woman, a young man, saying, hi, I like you and I think we could have a future together, why, she's going to be highly inclined to just say, no, you're not good enough. Okay. But there's more to it than this. Okay. I'm going to help you guys out. I promise. But I just want to cover these, biological basic things. Now, a lot of you guys out there, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, you've got no problems, right? You're just on top of it all, right? And I don't think guys like that, unless they really are, oh so successful and oh so happy, I don't think they're really facing the truth of the situation. I don't think they're facing, their true, I think they're hiding the truth from themselves. Check out my video on a certain blindness in human beings. Right, because it was such a winning title for William James, right? So check that one out. No, but it's an important video, right? Because we hide the true situation from ourselves so that we can be happy. And I believe that MGTOW are the men that are wise enough and smart enough and aware enough to recognize, oh, this gender dynamic is fucked, man. We're screwed. But you have to accept the basics. You have to understand the basics as a young man, right? You're asking for for a few moments of pleasure and a lot of social status, and she's potentially getting pregnant and it's potentially killing her and it's setting the course for the rest of her life. That's the biological basis of it. Forget about the birth control. That's why, okay, to start out with in this dynamic, you're not good enough. So you would have to be something exceptional and special as a male, right, for her to even be interested in the situation. And she's trained, and you can understand why she's trained to look at it this way. If you were her father, you would train her the same way. You would want the same thing. So you want to drive a Ferrari, okay, but you've only got $50 and you don't really have any prospects for being able to make payments on that Ferrari. You can't make the down payment and you can't make the payments and you can't even afford the insurance on that Ferrari, but you still want to drive that Ferrari and you're upset that you can't drive that Ferrari. Now, this is important. I'm not giving you a hard time. This is important to stress and to highlight and to illustrate this point. Because as I said, this is not for the guy who's really, large and in charge of everything. This is for the guy who recognizes that there is a problem here. And there is a problem here. And it's not just you. It's not just, oh, you're not good enough. Okay, here we go. In my previous video, advice for nice guys. I talk about how men are being taught two conflicting basic ideas about the world. And it amounts to a complete mind fuck, all right? There's a reason why you're confused. There's a reason why you're so frustrated. There's a reason why you can't make any progress. There's a reason why every direction you turn, you're still getting hit. There's a reason why everything you're doing isn't working. There's a reason why, and you need to understand it. And I'm hoping that the sooner you can understand it, the better you can extract yourself out of the situation. But it won't be easy. Oh, it's a hell of a process, right? So as I said, this is not for the guy who's the super stud who's just satisfying all of his desires, right? Because he's large and he's in charge. But this is part of the problem. See, because you want to be that guy. You've been taught to become that guy. Many men want to be that guy so badly that they look at this situation and they say, yeah, man, it's totally cool, man. I'm a stud. Yeah, I get together with women. I knock women. Pump and dump, baby. Okay? Are you insane? Are you insane? And the answer is absolutely. And you just don't know it. A certain blindness in human beings. We can't face certain truths, certain difficult, painful truths of a situation. It's even to our advantage in many instances to not face it, to just go on and make the best of it. Okay? So you're not good enough. And you understand, initially, you want to ride in the Ferrari. You've only got $50, but it's more than that. You're not good enough. And you want to be good enough. And what you think of as good enough has got nothing to do with being good enough, all right? If you achieve what you think you need to be in order to be good enough, to be the stud that thinks everything is okay here, if you achieve that, you're still not good. You're fucked. You're screwed. These are the conflicting ideas that we're being taught. At some point, there's an interesting phenomenon that takes place, and it is that we're not aware of the things that are going on in the world before we come into the world. We think that it pretty much starts when we get here, okay? But this stuff has been going on for ages. So you're being taught that, here, what is your most fundamental basic interest in life? It is your well-being. And this is not to the exclusion of those around you. This is not irrespective of who and what you are and what your virtues and values are, what you want to do in life. It's not irrespective of that. It's fundamentally tied to that. As a matter of fact, if you give that up, you lose meaning. All right? For example, I know this is a complex subject, MGTOW 102. What I'm saying is, let's say you wanted to be a painter your whole life or a musician or, I don't know, whatever. But you recognized that the valuable thing to do was to become a doctor or a lawyer, but you hate it, okay? But you can make good money at it, all right? So what I'm saying to you is that there was a time when being truthful to yourself, being happy in life, it meant being true to yourself as well. And I don't mean, it meant finding your own beliefs. It meant going your own way in life. It meant finding your own way in life, overcoming the obstacles, and then finding value and meaning in that. And this is a very advanced concept. And this is basically a kind of Calvinistic Lutheran idea, all right? You are this servant to the truth. You're like a servant to God, but to the God within you, not to, like the church, to the spirit within you. Now, this is not going to be to the exclusion of the practical real world. It's in conjunction with that. But you then have this concept of the human being is, this complete end in and of himself. That whatever it is he wants, that's what's important. And there's wisdom in this. And you can see this from somebody like Spinoza and a lot of these great thinkers, okay? Okay, so far so good, right? You've got this kind of religious, cultural, traditional society group mindset that you're going to have to fit into. And this is going to determine your social status, your value, your worth. And on the other side of that, you've got this idea that, you are just your own, you are an end in and of yourself, whatever it is you desire in life, short of hurting other people, you know what I mean, let's not be stupid about it, is what you need to pursue, okay? But what happens is we end up rejecting the spiritual aspect of the Calvinistic Lutheran injunction, okay? Because God and spirituality and your nature come out of the picture and it gets replaced with materialism and being a servant to an economic state, okay? So now your ability to get together with a woman is determined by your finances. Do you see what I'm getting at? So now the idea that you need to have a lot of money, you need to have a lot of resources comes into the picture. And you do. This is what we value. and we value it with religious fever. We're obsessed with it, but it's not religion. And it's tied to this desire to procreate. And guess who's in charge? I mean, the woman and the state are in charge. And you as a man, you are victim. You are slave. You are subject to your sexual desire, your desire to fulfill your life's duty, which you've been lied to as to what it is, because you think it is to just get money and to get together with women, right? But it could have been to discover your own nature, to find out the fundamental truths about yourself. No, it's about getting a good job, making a lot of money, and, getting together with the women. That's why I said, this is not for those guys who just think everything is fucking great. So the reason why you can't ever be good enough is because it doesn't matter how much money you get. Once you have enough, you have enough. Now it becomes a question of your character. Do you see what I'm saying? So this modern man who has gone the way of the state has not even bothered to find his own way. And this is fine starting out. I mean, check out, Dark Side of Female Sexuality. Check out a lot of my videos. All right, we're growing up in a system. We're dependent on that system. We need to please the people around us. Okay, fine. So we go along with whatever the cultural values are that are around us, which are essentially, gynocentric and pleasing women and materialistic. But if that's it, you're not good enough. That's not enough. Even if you were to become very successful at this aspect of it. And this is potentially a curse, right? Because you won't find out the truth. You won't go your own way if you're too successful in this pursuit, which makes men a slave to women, to biology, and to the economic interests of the state, to the political interests of the state. So if you're going down that road, you will never be good enough. You will never be true to yourself. You will never find yourself. You will never know yourself. You will never find your own way. You will never go your own way. And your life will be frustrating in this pursuit. And you will be thwarted at every turn. And you might actually even be better off failing at it, because then you will search for meaning and validation from within. Then you will be forced to go your own way. And that's a lot of what this radical feminism and this pathological altruism of the left is creating. It is creating this situation. Now, I have another quick point to make. Oh, yeah. So the point is this, is that within this dynamic, okay, there is no limit to how far the man will go in order to please the woman materially, to capitulate to her wants, to her needs, and it will destroy civilization. So not only will he enslave himself to the economic interests of the woman and to the state, not only will he turn his back on his own nature, not only will it not work, but by doing this, you will enable a female concern which is way too interested in her own material resources and her own security to the exclusion of pretty much everything else, and it's an emotional reaction to these things, that it will destroy Western civilization, okay? So that's why I say, this video is for certain groups of men. All right. So I know it's a complex subject, and I know I haven't covered it well enough, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.